Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So this is a question which is related to paper chromatography and which came in May-June 2023, paper 51. The question says that paper chromatography can be used to separate the individual amino acids formed when tripeptides are hydrolyzed. So the very first important keyword is this tripeptide and its hydrolysis. And we are told that one molecule of tripeptide produces three amino acids when hydrolyzed. This means that this is very clear to us that if we have a tripeptide, upon hydrolysis, it is going to give us three amino acids. A student is asked to identify the amino acids formed from the hydrolysis of three tripeptides A, B, and C using the chromatography. The results of the student's chromatography experiment are shown here, and we can clearly see that we have this tripeptide A, then we have this tripeptide B, and then we have this tripeptide C. So these three tripeptides are shown and how the amino acids are separated in each of these tripeptides onto the chromatogram is clearly visible in front of us. Then examiner, for the sake of convenience, has provided us with the formula of RF values, which says that it is equal to the distance traveled by the spot over distance traveled by the solvent front. So this is something which is based on the prior knowledge that you have covered back in your O levels. Let us see what the questions are. Suggest why each sample is applied to the chromatography paper using a thin capillary tube rather than a dropping pipette. This means that whenever you see a question like this, examiner wants you to make a kind of comparison between the two instruments that is given into the paper or the two apparatuses which are given in the question. You have to refer to both. And if you get to see, for example, for the sake of convenience, let us say that I do have this dropping pipette. This actually is the dropping pipette, right? And you can see that in the case of dropping pipette, we have a very large diameter, right? So if you have a large diameter, then this means that whenever you are going to apply the sample size would be comparatively larger, so which will ultimately be producing spots which are going to be of large size, right? And likely, for example, if you are going to use this capillary tube, here you can clearly see that in case of capillary tube, it's more or less like a kind of a needle, right? And you can clearly see that in the case of needle, so this is the capillary tube and it is so thin like a needle. So when you apply a spot with the help of this capillary tube, you can make the spot very small in size, and it's going to be a kind of controlled sample application. So we can write that thin capillary tube allows the controlled sample application while dropping pipette produces a giant or huge spot of sample on chromatogram. So the key idea was to compare the diameters of two. So you need to refer to this point and then finally to this point. Then we have another part which says, suggest why is it necessary to spray a developing agent over the chromatography paper before the chromatogram can be analyzed. So it's a very important question, and you need to understand that whenever we separate the amino acids, right? So if you have a sample of proteins or a polypeptide, or for example if it is a tripeptide, whatever it is, upon hydrolysis they are always going to be converted into amino acids, and the spots that amino acids produces on a chromatogram paper are most of the time colorless, right? So in order to make them visible, what you do is you do add either a locating agent, or it can either be known as a developing agent. It can mostly be ninhydrin, or it can either be an iodine solution, right? Or sometimes we generally use UV light, but in case of amino acids, we prefer to use ninhydrin. So ninhydrin is sprayed onto the chromatogram paper, and it converts the colorless spots into the purple or brown color spots. Right, so this is one very nice way through which the spots can be made visible, and you can clearly see, for example, in this diagram we can see that we have this chromatogram, and you can see that before spraying the ninhydrin, the chromatogram is completely blank, although the amino acids have separated in this chromatogram, but the spots are not visible. But once we apply the ninhydrin, we can clearly see the spots in the purple color and in the brown color. So this is something that you need to keep in your mind, that how ninhydrin is actually going to work. So this is going to make the spots visible, so we can simply write to make the spots visible. Always prefer to write relevant answers without writing any useless information, right? Then we have C part. This says that table 2.1 shows the RF values for some amino acids in the solvent used in figure 2.1. So this is a list of multiple amino acids with their RF values, and the question says that use the data in table 2.1 to identify the amino acid in tripeptide A. So this basically is the tripeptide A, and we have to calculate the RF values, and then we have to compare those RF values with the data which is provided to us. So we can see when tripeptide A is hydrolyzed, it forms 3 spots. This is the first one, then we have this second one, and then we have this third one. So I'm going to take the middle point of all of these, and I'm going to calculate the RF values, right? So you can see that the distance traveled by this component is roughly around 1.2, right, or something around 1. And if I talk about the second spot, this is going to be something like 3.8, right? So these are just rough estimations, and it can lead you to the final right answer. And if I talk about this one, so this can be 5.5. So I can write this is 5.5, and this one is like 3.8, and this one is going to be 1.2. So these are the distances which are traveled by the components, and then we can clearly see that the distance traveled by the solvent front is actually this, right? So the distance traveled by the solvent front is going to be 7. So using the formula that is given to us in the paper, that RF value is the distance traveled by the amino acid spot over distance traveled by the solvent front, I can easily calculate the RF values for all the spots individually. For example, if I calculate the RF value for this one, component to be written above and the distance traveled by the solvent front to be written underneath, so I get an answer which is equal to 0.17, right? So likely I have another one. For example, I have this next one, which is 3.8 divided by 7. So this is equal to 3.8 divided by 7. This is equal to 0.54. And then I have the last one, which is 5.5 divided by 7, which is equal to 0.78, right? So these are actually the values: 0.17, 0.54, and 0.78. So we got the values 0.17, 0.54 and 0.78, and we are going to compare that which values are going to align with the data that we have calculated. And remember that in all such questions you can use approximate values. For example, if I talk about spot A, some students might get it to a value of 1, and if you find the RF value using this point, it turns out to be 0.14. So they are approximately equal, either it's 0.14 or it's 0.17. It's going to take you to the right answer. So we can see we have the data in front of us. So 0.17 is very close to this value, which is for the lysine. Then we have for 0.54, which is present for tryptophan, this one. And then we have 0.78, which is present for leucine. So according to the RF values that I have calculated in this regard, I can clearly write that the amino acids present in tripeptide are lysine, tryptophan, and leucine. And a more nice answer is that can suggest that the value for the first spot was calculated like this, 1 by 7, which is equal to 0.14. For the second spot 2, it was like this, 3.8, which was equal to 0.54. And the third one for spot 3 was like this, 5.5 over 7, which is equal to 0.78. So all these values are aligning with the data given in the table. So this makes us or brings us to a point where we can say that these 3 amino acids together form the tripeptide A. So always make sure to refer your answers very nicely, because 2 marks are never going to be given for writing the names of amino acids only. It is your working, your calculation related to the RF values that is going to award you the marks. And we know that if the examiner has given us the formula of the RF values, then he or she is simply expecting us to calculate the RF values and prove it in our data before we make a final conclusion in the answer. Then we have part D, suggest why the hydrolyzed sample of B produces only 2 spots. So you can see that in this chromatogram, this B is producing only 2 spots, and we know tripeptide is made up of 3 amino acids. So technically amino acid के 3 spots होने चाहिए यहाँ पे, but we can see that there are only 2 spots. So that does mean that if there are 3 amino acids, 2 of them are same, and due to the same amino acids we are going to have one common RF value, right? So we can write that 2 of the 3 amino acids, 2 of the 3 amino acids forming tripeptide B are same, right? So if they are same means that they have same RF values. Now there is one very important key term that you need to understand, that one is the same RF values, right? And the other important word is the similar RF values. Same refers to having exactly same values, right? So for example, in case of tripeptide B, we are getting 2 spots, and there we can say that 2 of the 3 amino acids are entirely the same. For example, let us suppose that it was made up of like alanine and proline. So alanine, 2 amino acids, both of them have RF values of 0.38. This is just an assumption to make you clarify about the concept. So you can say if the RF values are exactly the same, you are going to get a similar spot, right? And the similar RF values means that the 2 amino acids RF values are actually very close. They are not exactly the same. So amino acids are different. We can write for this one that this means that amino acids are different. but the amino acids have very closer RF values. Very close RF values. So exactly same RF value means that you have exactly same amino acid, and similar RF values means that amino acids are not same, rather those amino acids have very close RF values. So this is something that you need to keep in your mind, because examiner clearly has told in the marking scheme that if you write same, you are not going to get a mark if it is not similar, right? So be very cautious about it. Then we have part E, two of the three spots from the hydrolyzed sample of C overlap. Okay, so you can see that in case of C, there is a kind of overlapping, right? So we can see that overlapping is occurring here. What could be the possible reason? And this is where the idea of similar RF values is going to be implemented. So we can clearly write that in this case, the two amino acids in C tripeptide have similar RF values. Similar means that they are very close, right? So this leads to overlapping. So the point of similar is to be used here, and the point of same is to be used here. You have same amino acids here, which means same RF value, and you have different amino acids here, but they have similar or closer RF values. Suggest an improvement to the method that would allow the overlapping spots to be distinguished clearly. So we basically want to separate these spots clearly. We want to get these three amino acids separately onto the chromatogram without getting them being overlapped. So the best way is that we should use a different solvent, right? So we can use any different solvent that allows a greater solvent front, right? That produces a solvent front of greater than 7 value. So when the spots will separate, ultimately the RF values are going to be different, and we can get clearly distinct spots, right? So you always need to understand what scenario is given into the paper, and you have to answer accordingly. This question was for 7 marks. It is not difficult at all, and you can easily see that how it correlated all the previously studied concepts in O levels.